All right, everybody, what is going on? Good morning, as good as you can make it for me, because I'm still sick, still not happy about it, but the show goes on, and we got some stuff to talk about from yesterday, because obviously yesterday was a pretty big day for the Seahawks. They hired a new offensive coordinator, and yesterday was kind of all about surprise. I don't know if it was really a surprise. It seemed like the team was moving quickly, but I think the fact that they hired Brian Fleury was a little bit of a surprise because everything was leading up to them making an in-house hire, and then apparently, and this is the only thing I can assume, Brian Fleury just went in there and had an incredible interview. So good for him. But I think it is a little bit surprising that it's not somebody like Justin Outen or Jake Peets. So whether or not that's good, time will tell. But I do like the fact that we went outside the current staff to find this guy. So let's talk about a couple things. All right, guys, before we go any further into the video, I want to take a minute to tell you guys about my friends over at Sleeper. Sleeper is a one-stop shop for all your sports needs. Download the app to your phone. You can celebrate and chat about sports in real time with other users. You can get scores, news, and alerts with blazing fast speed. And you can play in daily fantasy leagues and win real money on picks contests. So enjoy sports together. Download Sleeper today, and don't forget to use my promo code SBN for up to a $100 match on your first deposit. Plus, they currently have a free $20 entry, no deposit required, just make an account. Terms and conditions do apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details. Currently operational in over 25 states and growing. So check out Sleeper and have fun with sports this year. All right, so first let's take care of a little bit of house cleaning stuff as it pertains to yesterday. As most people know, Andrew Janocko left the Seahawks to go to the Raiders. He's going to be their new offensive coordinator. So Janocko's gone. However, according to multiple reports, there's this from Curtis Crabtree, and we also had a similar report from Dan Viennes. John Benton is going to remain with the Seahawks, the offensive line coach. So that's kind of the big one, I think. I think that's the one that most people really cared about. Once Kubiak was gone, keeping Benton was huge, and we're much better off having that guy around. And there's no reason to believe the personnel he's going to work with in 2026 is going to be worse. If anything, it should be better. So whatever else happens with this team in 2026, we should have a really good foundation building on the offensive line. So John Benton's sticking around, which means the question marks are Jake Peets and Justin Outen. Those guys, we don't know for sure. I guess you could throw Mac Brown in there, but I don't think Mac Brown's going to go anywhere. I don't think he's done enough to justify a promotion from tight end coach yet if the Seahawks aren't willing to give it to him. So I don't think he's going anywhere. It is worth noting that the only team that doesn't have an offensive coordinator right now is the Rams. So if you're talking about giving Peets or Outen a promotion, that's like the only team left that could really do it. I know that there are some other positions that maybe would technically be a promotion for Outen or Peets, but a little bit harder at that point. So once the Rams hire their OC, whoever it may be, it's going to be pretty much solidified what we have and who we got. Okay, so now that we're past that, I want to kind of do a little bit of a general thoughts on the Brian Fleury hire, right? I want to talk about Brian Fleury and what he brings beyond what I was able to say yesterday, because yesterday, obviously, I was just kind of breaking the news that he got hired, and I didn't really have a ton to say other than he's our new OC. So, Brian Fleury, I think there are two things that stand out here. And number one is the fact that he worked under Shanahan for 7 seasons now, and he's been on the offensive staff for the last 6 years as a quality control coach, as a tight end coach, and as a run game coordinator. So if there's anybody in the world that should have a very good handle on the Shanahan offense, it should be Brian Fleury. He has been with that staff for a very long time. And if he is at all capable of being a good play caller and offensive coordinator, he has all the experience he needs. There's not going to be a world where Fleury comes in here, doesn't do well, And then we go, well, he should have spent a little bit longer with Shanahan. No, he spent long enough with Shanahan. 7 years, 6 years under the offense. So if if he doesn't have that offense down pat, then it's just not in his repertoire of ability. And we are in a place where I think we have to trust that John and Mike know what they're doing, and we're able to suss that out in the interview process whether or not Fleury was good. The other thing, and this is from this Brady Henderson tweet I have on screen right now from what's this guy's name? Nick Wagoner? Nick Wagoner, not Wagoner. Wagoner, I believe is how you pronounce it. He's a 49ers guy on X. He works for ESPN. Fleury was heavily involved in the 49ers run game well before he was added to the run game coordinator title in 2025. So, therefore, he was not the run game coordinator before this last year, but he was involved in the run game and has been for some time, and that's probably a big part of this. What the Seahawks need to avoid big picture in 2026 is abandoning the run. If the Seahawks abandon the run a lot in 2026, they're going to lose. They don't have the personnel, they don't have the players, they don't have what it takes to be a high volume passing attack team. At least not every week. There are going to be times where you got to go a little bit high volume, and they're good enough to get away with it from time to time. But this is a team built on under center, run the ball, play action, outside zone, try to hit big plays off play action, all that kind of stuff. And that's why there were certain offensive coordinators that I really wanted to avoid. Guys like Cliff Kingsbury, guys like Ken Dorsey, guys, basically anybody who runs the spread or an RPO heavy offense. I just didn't think that would work because those guys tend to abandon the run. So while here's the thing, there's only so much I can say about Brian Fleury because he's never called plays before. Last year, when we hired Kubiak, one thing that I was able to do is tell you guys what kind of offense he was going to run and how competent he was at it because he had run offenses before. He had been a play caller for the Saints, the Vikings, and a little bit for the Broncos. So we had a pretty good idea of the kind of stuff that he would be getting up to. Fleury, it's not so definite because we've never seen him call an offense before. But based on the evidence we have, this guy has the things we need. He's a Shanahan guy, which is very crucial here. This is a guy who was on the 49ers staff the year they had Sam Darnold. There's also some crossover with John Benton, by the way, which maybe is part of the reason why Benton is sticking around. And he's got a strong background in running the ball. And I'm going to say it again. If the Seattle Seahawks can do those things in 2026, they're going to be okay. Run the ball and run the Shanahan offense, play under center, hit big plays off play action, outside zone. And Fleury is a guy who's been under Kyle Shanahan in Frisco for a very long time. So if he doesn't get it now, he's never going to get it. This is not some one-hit wonder guy. This is not somebody the Niners just hired a year ago and he left a good impression on them but was only there for one season. So that's what I can say about Fleury right now. I can't offer up much more than that because, like I said, never called plays before in the NFL. But the experience he has, I think bodes well for this being an effective hire. All right, I'm going to go and get out of here. See you guys later. Go Hawks. I'm okay with it, man. Let me know what you guys think. See you guys soon.